Hey, what's up guys, it's 3 more here. Today I'm going to teach you how to do simple codes in C++. The first thing you're going to want to do is download a program which allows you to write codes or a compiler. And you can either use this code blocks or you can use this, Microsoft Visual Studio. To use Microsoft Visual Studio, you go to New, Project. You're going to wait for it a little bit. Windows 32 console application. And just click Finish, the basic setting. Wait a couple of seconds, it's gonna happen. You're just gonna have to wait. I'll be adding links for both of them in the description. Use whatever you want to use. It's basically up to preference, but I prefer code block. This is what's gonna come out. And we're gonna be using code block for this tutorial. Well, they're basically the same thing, but I prefer code block. Much nicer outlay. Anyways, you're gonna go to File, New, Project, Console Application. Then you're gonna click the project title, which will be Simple Code. You can call it whatever you want. And here is gonna be C++ because we're gonna be dealing with C++. Use the GNU GCC compiler as the most basic one. And to get into the actual page, this was because of my old code. Anyways, to get into your coding page or whatever you want to call it, click Sources, then CPP. It's gonna show out this. Now, these two, you don't have to know what they mean right now, but you just have to know they will be there in 99% of your codes. And every single code will have an integer called main. This is basically the main function, what the program is supposed to do. Every single program has a main function, otherwise it will not have a function basically. And that's basically it. You can, this bracket, you can type in integers, integer x is equal to 5 or something. You don't have to know that now, and you can just type it in the code anyways. First of all, what you're gonna want to do is remove this return 0. Just cut it off, you don't need it, because in the new programs you don't need it. Back in the days you needed it because the computer didn't know what to return, but yeah, you don't need to know that. Yeah, you're just beginner anyways. Now after you made the project, it's gonna show you this code right here. Everything might sound complicated at first, but like when you get used to it, it's gonna be so easy. This code is made up of 3 values, or as I would, 3 codes. Cout, which means print out, meaning this computer will print out whatever is after this, whatever is after the arrows. Arrows to the left means print out, arrows to the right means print in. Means input and output. When the arrows are to the right, it means you should input the information. When the arrows are to the left, it means the computer will output the information. The arrows are to the left, and this command is cout. Cout means output, arrows, hello world between quotation marks. That means it's gonna output hello world, and then 2 more arrows. It's gonna output an end line, which means it's gonna output a space. Then we're gonna go ahead and build it, and building basically means like checking the program if everything is correct in it. It's gonna show you if there are any errors. You can see there's no errors here. Then you're gonna run it. It's gonna show you hello world and then with a space over here. That's it. A very simple like command. And also, if you don't type the end line here, it's not gonna make any difference. The only thing it's gonna do, as you can see here, first I'm gonna explain what semicolons are. After every line of code, you're gonna type a semicolon to show the program, to show the computer that you're done writing the code. Example, if you don't type this semicolon and you just keep typing here, it's gonna think that this is part of this code, but you don't want that. This is one code, cout hello world, and we removed the end line as you can see, and now we're gonna build and run it. I'll show what's the difference. The only difference is it's gonna print hello world and no line under it. Instead of just writing and then like that, there's a simpler method. After you're done writing your text, you type the slash to the right and n, and you close the quotation mark, and then you type the semicolon. Now it's gonna put a break. Same thing, exact same thing, but instead of writing it outside the code, you write it inside the code. Much simpler and much more neat. And now we'll be getting into integers. You might not know what integers are, but you sure will in a few minutes, or less than minutes. I'll explain it shortly in less, around 30 seconds. Integer is basically a full number. Let's say we have an integer x. You might be like, if an integer is a full number, how is an integer x? If you learned basic math, okay, anyways, you know that you can have numbers set to letters. If you don't know what that means, I'll show you. We have an integer named x. We know there's an integer named x, but we don't know what x is. The computer doesn't know what x is either. You have to tell him x is equal to 0. That's basically it. That's an integer. Now we want the computer to see out something. We want it to see out, which is output. Oh my god, I can't type. Output x, which is 0. Now we're gonna build and run it. Put the semicolon, build, run. It's gonna output here, as you can see, 0. Just we want to print out x, which is 5. Very simple. Again, let me just go through it. Integer x. We told the computer there will be an integer called x. And then we told it x is equal to 5, and we told it see out x. So we told it to print out x, which is integer x, which is 5. Very simple. So that's why it's printing out 5. And now to teach you cn, okay? We have an integer called x, and we don't know what x is. We want the user, and not the computer, to give an x. Like, not as in x is equal to 5. We want it in the code for the user to type in what x is. We type in cn, which is input, and not these arrows, because these arrows means output. Input into the computer, x. Now, to make it more neat, we're gonna do it like cout. Again, when this is there, when these quotation marks are there, that means this is text. Example, let's say enter x, integer. Oh my god, I can't type for some reason. Enter integer x. We're gonna quit the stop the code and stop the code. Wait, let me just, yeah, if you click just run, it will run the last thing you built. So when you click build and run, it's gonna build it and run it. Enter integer x 5. That's it. Because you told it to tell us enter integer x and then enter x. Now you entered x, but they don't know what to do with x, right? So we're gonna have to put out another command for that. Cout x. Now after you enter x, it's gonna print out x. Enter integer x 5, and then again, as you can see over here, it prints out x. It gets a little bit more advanced, not too advanced though. We're gonna make another integer. Now we're gonna make a code, an adder that adds two numbers together. Integer y and integer x. Just now we told the computer there's an integer x and an integer y, and now we want him to tell us to enter x and y, which means cout. The computer's outputting text, which is enter x. Stop the code, end the code, and cn x. Now we're not gonna put the quotation marks here because it's the code, not text. Quit it. Now cout, enter y, and now we're gonna stop the code and cn y. Now we have two integers x and y, and the computer told us to enter x and enter y. And when they told us to enter x, we entered x, and when they told us to enter y, we entered y. And now to get to the addition part. Now it knows what x and y is, but you want him to add it together, or multiply it together, or whatever you want. We're gonna tell him cout. You don't have to put this, just to make it like more professional. I'm gonna do this. X plus, or you can just do multiplied by, or anything. X plus y is equal to, you're gonna You don't have to break the code here because it's a shape code. Put two more orders, and because this is text, but we don't want text now, we want to put in a code. X plus Y. You're gonna end the code, build it, and then run it. Enter X, which is 5, enter Y, which is 5. X plus Y is equal to 10. Very simple, right? I'm just gonna go through it again. Integer X, integer Y. We told the computer there are two integers, and then we told it to print out enter X. Now it printed out enter X, and it told us to, and now we are entering X, and then it's telling out as it's outputting enter Y, and then we have to input Y. Very simple to now, right? And then it's gonna print out this text, X plus Y is equal to, and these two arrows to make the code X plus Y. Very simple, right? It doesn't have to be, this could be literally anything you want. Example, I love cake. Basically anything, okay? And it's just gonna do the same code because this is just text. It has nothing to do with the code. It's gonna print out I love cake and then X plus Y. It's gonna print out I love cake and then X 5 plus Y. You can also do it like X into Y and just type in. This makes no difference to the code. It's only text again. X just for you to understand. X multiplied by Y is equal to. Then you're gonna build and run it. Enter X 5, and Y is 5. X multiplied by Y is equal to 25. Again, to show you that this text has no reference to the answer whatsoever. I love burritos. Again, F9. Oh wait, you're gonna have to exit the code first to make another code. Enter X, which is 5. Enter Y, which is 5. I love burritos 25. Means it's gonna print out I love burritos. Very simple. I'm just gonna go through it, and then I'm gonna end the tutorial and teach you the more advanced stuff in the next tutorials. There's an integer X, integer Y, cout, enter X. Now the computer knows there will be an integer X, and it knows there will be an integer Y, but it doesn't know what X and Y really are. So if you just do this, it's not gonna know what X and Y is. See? I love burrito 3. It just messes up. It doesn't know what X into Y is. Okay? So now we're gonna tell the computer that to enter X, to tell us to enter X, this is what the computer is telling us, and then we're gonna enter X input, and then we're gonna tell it to tell us basically. Now the computer tells us enter Y, and then we give it the number of Y. Then it prints out I love burritos and X into Y, or just X into Y is equal to. This makes a little bit of spacing. 5, 3. X into Y is equal to 15. Simple, right? That's it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one, where I go into the more advanced